sometimes the universe doesn't shut up. It just starts sending you or keeps sending you more of the same shit. Right up on the screen just the other day, this is like a week past my vacation. What's following behind me but a stinking yellow Jeep? Okay, I had to finally say, okay, universe, I got it. I got it now.
Welcome to The Reluctant Medium, where we cover the gamut of out there conversations. With an open mind and a curious heart, we want to talk about it all. From psychic phenomena and energy medicine to beings from other star systems and out-of-body experiences. You'll find a great balance between grounded science-backed topics and others that science hasn't quite caught up to yet. I'm your host, Dr. Maria Rothenberger, a psychotherapist by trade and a reluctant spirit baby communicator. And hey, even though I'm a medium, I'm not buying everything folks are selling. I just have a voracious appetite to know more about what I call the world of the weird. Join us on your favorite podcast platform or watch on YouTube at The Reluctant Medium. I'll see you there. The Reluctant Medium is part of the Ethereal Network. Here's another podcast you may want to check out.
Hello, my name is Melissa Oatman, and I'm the host of Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness. I'm a teacher, healer, intuitive, and single mom of twins. I'm an empath and a recovering people pleaser. I created Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness to help other people like me learn how to stop living their lives for others so that they could start living their absolute best lives. I cover topics in spirituality and self-improvement, like setting healthy boundaries, working with the archangels, and protecting your energy. I end every episode by pulling a card of guidance to help you get a message to start your day off right. I also interview fascinating guests who cover a wide range of self-help topics. If this sounds interesting to you, then what are you waiting for? Start listening today.
Hey, welcome to the Reluctant Medium podcast. I'm Dr. Maria Rothenberger, your host for the podcast. And today is part 1 of a 3-part series on manifesting. Man, I am so ready for some fun. And manifesting is so much fun. Over the next 3 weeks or 3 episodes, you will be able to learn techniques that I have found super useful in manifesting things in my life. And I'll be giving you plenty of examples for using these skills, and you can start running with them like right now. But the main idea here is to have some stinkin' fun, because I think that's actually probably rule number 1 of manifesting anything, is to have some fun. And in fact, I'll probably go into a list of must-haves for manifesting, and that's rule number 1. This got to be fun. It's got to be fun. I am in the PNW, the Pacific Northwest, and we are having a stinking ridiculous winter. I'm over it. It's been rainy, snowy, slushy, freezing rainy. I'm just like so done with it. And so I thought, what's something that I can do on the podcast that's just fun? I just need to have some fun. And so here we are, a 3-part series on manifesting, because it is some fun stuff. And I have to tell you, some shit's been happening lately that you are just going to flip over in terms of like evidence that manifesting works. Okay, a couple other things actually that are fun. The first thing is that I will be having a fun little social media, like fun extravaganza. Hint, hint. My social media manager, Mimi, my assistant, freaking-tastic human being. Thank you, Mimi, for existing. She came up with this beautiful idea of like having some fun on social media, and we're going to be doing a little egg hunt for the spring. And so all social media posts are going to have little eggs in them somewhere, and you'll be getting like points and things for finding these eggs, screenshotting them, sending them to me, tagging me in posts and things, and you'll be getting a whole bunch of points. There are prizes to be won, so don't miss out. Look for that on social media and in my newsletter coming up in March. Well, it is March actually right now. Yeah, so my next newsletter is coming out very soon. All the details will be in that and on social media too, Instagram and Facebook and YouTube actually are my top 3 channels. So you can find that information there. Okay. The other announcement that I have for the Reluctant Medium is that a few weeks ago, 6 weeks ago now, 4 to 6 weeks ago, I completed my shamanic Reiki master level practitioner training. So I am now able to offer shamanic Reiki healing, and that'll be up on the website coming March 2024. It's not up there yet, but you can certainly email me for details if you would like at maria@thereluctantmedium.us. But I personally do shamanic Reiki along with crystal healing at the same time. And it's all distance for right now. If you happen to live in the PNW, I will hopefully, crossing fingers, be able to do in-person sessions again at some point. Not sure when, but that'll be happening someday. All right. So that's the other fun thing. It's been great. Oh, and I do want to say I had the most lovely experience with a soul loss prevention treatment, I suppose it's called, or I believe that the trainer called it a journey. It felt like a journey, a shamanic journey. But I want to share that experience in a future podcast as well. I am not a shaman by any stretch, but there are elements of shamanism in the Reiki training that I did, shamanic Reiki training, that are just so beautiful. And the basic idea is that when we experience a trauma or a loss in our life, that a piece of our soul can break off and leave in order to protect us. And I traveled back in time in this experience to prevent that soul from leaving. So I felt more intact and more whole, but what happened afterwards was like mind freaking blowing. So I'll be sharing that story in another podcast episode in the next couple of months here. So look for that. All right. So, hey, let's talk about some fun stuff. All right. You could tell if you're watching this on YouTube, you can tell I really, really want some fun because my hair is silver on top. I'm growing out my silvers, but I dyed it purple on the bottom. Man, I just really need to have my spirits uplifted from these winter doldrums and all of the transitioning happening in my life, as you might know from my my newest solocast from 2024 back in January, that I am going through a divorce and moved into my own place and back and forth with the kids and all that fun stuff. Or not so fun stuff. And so, yeah, I need some uplifting stuff. And so I decided to dye my hair purple. So fun. Okay, let's get into manifesting. This is so much fun. I want you to really lean into the idea that manifesting does not have to be this crazy, serious thing, especially when you are trying to manifest or create something in your life that is so emotionally heavy. Like, I work a lot with folks who have dealt with fertility issues, as you might know from my previous podcast, the Miracles Happen Fertility podcast. And that's heavy shit. Like, it's a really traumatic, difficult experience. And so to move into a place of playfulness seems counterintuitive and like just wrong. I guarantee it's not. It's actually the way to get into a manifesting mindset. So with that baseline in mind, I really want you to consider doing these very practical exercises to practice and flex those manifesting muscles. And I have a lot of stories to tell you too about this that you're going to your mind is going to be blown. Okay. I mean, mine still is, but okay. Let's talk about what manifesting is. What is manifesting in the first place? So loosely, my personal definition is when you create something seemingly out of thin air, or it's those things that people call coincidence that are actually part of a whole synchronistic series of events or a synchronistic event. But there's meaning. There's a lot of meaning in them. It's not just chaos. And when you start focusing on a certain thing, you create an intention and you focus on a certain thing coming into your life, all of the synchronistic events that are meant to align do so, and that thing is manifest in your life. But I have to share with you one of my favorite explanations of manifesting that I heard years and years ago. You can probably tell from my bookshelves behind me if you're watching this on YouTube. If not, then you'll know verbally that behind me I have a bunch of Wayne Dyer books. I love Dr. Wayne Dyer. When he passed away, I actually grieved like it was a family member. Love him. And he and Deepak Chopra got together decades and decades ago, and they created this audiobook. They spoke live in front of an audience, and they talked about manifesting. And I just want to share that clip with you now.
We were talking about using the example of strawberry ice cream, which seems to be both of our favorite flavors. And if you let's say you wanted strawberry ice cream. You're all here in this room today, and you wanted to have some strawberry ice cream. And we're talking about how many ways are there to get strawberry ice cream if you want to get it into your world. I mean, literal potential ways for you to have a dish of strawberry ice cream. And the first way is the way that all of you know. That is, you have a thought. It always, as Emerson said, the ancestor to every action is a thought. Right? You have this somehow, the thought, and then there's the thinker of the thought. So the thought is, like, I just wanted some water. I'd like to have some strawberry ice cream. And then you get in your car and you drive over to Haagen-Dazs, or you get on your bicycle, you go for a walk, and you get yourself some strawberry ice cream. So you act upon that thought. Now, that's the lowest level of higher consciousness. I mean, there's not a vegetable plant that knows how to do that. No stone will ever do that. An animal won't do that. But you know how to do that. So that's higher consciousness, but it's still the lower level. And there's there are many higher levels than that, or there are three beyond that we were talking about. Another way, if you want to have strawberry ice cream, is to have a thought, gee, I'd like to have some strawberry ice cream. And a higher consciousness way is to say to one of your kids, go get me some strawberry ice cream. So that you have the thought and somebody else is acting on it, which is really terrific. It was outlawed. It's called slavery, but it's still a way of getting strawberry ice cream into your life. But the next way, I think, is the more interesting way.
Well, then the next way is that you have the thought, and your friend goes by and he says, "Hey, Deepak, would you like some strawberry ice cream? I just went to the grocery store and I got some." And then there's a better way. You have the thought and you open the refrigerator, it's there. There's a better way. You have the thought and you turn around and it's there. And then there's an even better way. You have the thought and you manifest it right before your eyes. And it all is a function of how local and non-local you can be at the same time. See, if your attention is always on the relative, then the relative is the field of change. Then all you see is change, change, change. If your attention is on the absolute, then it's non-change. The absolute is the ground of all change. And that is fine. It's great because it gives you the experience of immortality, but it could get boring after a while. And I say, hey, forever and ever, non-change.
Yeah.
When you have it simultaneously on the relative and the absolute, that every experience is experienced in terms of its boundaries, but at the same time, in terms of its unboundedness, then you got it.
Now, this is something that I've experienced in my life a lot more lately, that I've been able to go to this level. This is difficult for him to handle here, but and what I suggest is that when you get to this place that we're alluding to here, which is not a place, that these kinds of events of people walking by and saying, "Is this your strawberry ice cream?" And you say, "Wow, I was just thinking about that. Ooh, what's going on? How did that happen? Where did that come from?" Or you're thinking about your sister and you're just having a conversation with her. You haven't seen her in 5 years and you go to the phone and she's calling, or, endless numbers of these kinds of synchronistic events that almost like you have a collaboration with fate, become more frequent. They become more noticeable. They aren't something that you say, "Oh, how could this happen? Isn't that interesting?" Or it's just chaos.
Or coincidence, which most people start calling these little synchronistic events, they start saying, that's just coincidence, which honestly, when you think about that, effectively disempowers you. I want you to know right now that you are a powerful manifester and you can have strawberry ice cream any damn time you want. But I think what's really important, what I think Wayne Dyer was getting to there, was that you start to feel like this is just normal. This is just normal life. Very powerful example. When our son came home, this whole story is in my book, Transcending Infertility. But when my son came home from Korea, there were two parts of me. The one part was like, holy shit, he's home. But the other part, the more prominent part of me was like, oh yeah, well, of course. Like I've been manifesting this. That's how it always was. That's how these are the feelings that I had the whole time, which PS is an extremely important part of your manifesting work, my friends. We will be talking about feeling into it in future episodes in this series. Okay, but I did have that feeling of, yeah, of course, that's just how it is. That's been what I've been manifesting this entire time. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about the first technique. Now, it's not technically a technique. It's a way to get your feet wet. It's a way to prove that you indeed have control or influence over your universe, okay? It does manifest some things, but it's just a way to get your feet wet. This book by Pam Grout, it's called E Squared. And of course, I'll link up to it in the show notes. This book is hysterical, first of all. She's a fan-freaking-tastic, funny writer. And it's so fun. Here's the tagline. So E Squared, 9 do-it-yourself energy experiments that prove your thoughts create your reality. Way too much fun. And that is the point, by the way, of Manifesting 101. Freaking make it fun. And I have a story to tell around that. But first, let's get into this experiment, is what she calls it. So I first did this experiment years and years ago. I can't remember if it was before or after our son came home, but it's called the Jetta Principle. And the Jetta Principle, here's how it's written. I did it a little bit differently. I'll tell you how I did it, but first let me tell you how it's written. The Jetta Principle is an experiment for 48 hours, where for the first 24 hours, you focus on manifesting a particular car or viewing a certain car in your reality. And the second 24 hours of that 48-hour period, you manifest or focus on something completely random. It could be I think she uses a purple feather in the book, or a free cup of coffee is another one that she uses in the book. Here's what I did. I was blown away. I don't remember doing the second part of the experiment. I was so blown away by the first part. Here's what happened. I decided to focus on orange cars. It didn't matter the make or model. I just was focusing on orange cars because who freaking has an orange car? In my mind, I was like, there's never going to be an orange car that shows up. This is insane. Well, I had extended the experiment a little longer. I was busy in life or whatever, so it ended up being a few days. And in those few days, I freaking saw 7 orange cars. 7. And so what happened, because I was very skeptical, still am a healthy skeptic, but I was more of like a skeptical person back then. I said, okay, clearly there are more orange cars in the world than I thought. So instead of orange car, I'm going to redo this, basically is what I said. I'm redoing this experiment, and I'm going to focus now on pink cars because freaking nobody has a pink car. Okay. And if a pink car shows up, then I'll know this is real. Well, over the next, I don't remember if it was a day or two. I think it was 2 days. I saw 3 pink vehicles. 3. Oh, and right now I'm looking at the clock. It's 3:33. How convenient. So 3 pink vehicles, and they weren't just they were actual large, normal size vehicles right in front of me. They weren't toys. They weren't anything like that, although that's equally as important. One was a limousine. The other one was a pink cable van. And the last one was a pink, old car, like a Model T or something like that. It was insane. And I have to tell you, the third car, after the two first vehicles, I'm like, this is crazy. So I said, okay, universe, I see what you're doing. I'm going to take a different route to work today. You're not going to trick me. Well, I took some back roads, and what's cresting over the freaking hill as I'm about to cross the road? That pink Model T or whatever that car was. And they weren't just like Mary Kay blush pink. No, we're talking all three of them were bubble gum stinking pink. Okay. Like not deniable. I couldn't deny it. So I was blown away by this. And there are other experiments in this book that are completely mind boggling. I totally recommend picking it up and doing all 9 experiments. Plus, she has another book called E Cubed, 9 more experiments. Totally recommend. I haven't actually done those myself, but she is so much fun. I'm actually considering it over these next few months because I need some fun, as you can tell. Okay, so here is a more recent experience that happened with this experiment. Okay, I have someone that I'm dating that we are exchanging lessons, right? He's teaching me drums. I am teaching him manifesting. So we're on a trip, okay? And he's learning, he's doing the Jetta principle. And he said, well, you know what? I'm going to do pink cars too. And it's not showing up, and it's not showing up, and it's not showing up. And we had this little mini lesson around when you are frustrated and overwhelmed and just like, just digging in your heels, like, I gotta find this desperate feeling. The universe is going to send you more of digging in your heels, desperate feeling. And so what you have to do is be playful and act as if it's already in front of you. It was really hard to switch to that. And it really is. It's hard to switch to that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to do it along with you, only I'm going to manifest yellow Jeeps. He's like, what? You're going to be that specific? I said, yeah, I'm going to be that specific and I'm going to show you. Well, friggin' A, what's showing up all over our trip but yellow stinkin' Jeeps? And for him too, he would see a yellow stinkin' Jeep before I would because he was in that state of, oh, it's already going to show up because she's doing it. She's doing the manifesting. I'm not. So I know it's going to show up. Well, once they started showing up for him, I reminded him, that's the feeling. That's it. It's ease and peace. And like, you already know it's going to show up. It's stinking crazy. And I keep saying the word stinking. I'm going to stop now, but oh my God. It's so nutty when this starts happening. So for reals, this is what happened. When he got it, what shows up at a Barnes & Noble toy area, but a pink vehicle? He snapped a photo of it and sent it to me. He's like, as soon as I let go, there it was. Yes, that's exactly right. Now, here's fair warning. Once you get the feeling for this, everything will start freaking showing up for you. It really will. True story. We're on the flight home. We're all the way in the back, and that's coast to coast. So we're talking 5.5, 6 hour flight. We're all the way in the very last row, and we're walking down the aisle to our seats. And the emergency row only has like a couple people in it. He's like, oh, I see those open seats, man. That'd be so great. He's tall. He's like talking about leg room and stuff. He's like, I'm going to feel what that feels like, to just get those seats the whole ride home. And we schlep our way back to the very back aisle, and we're sitting down talking to our new friend, our new neighbor, when all of a sudden a flight attendant comes down the row and says, excuse me, are you two traveling together? Would you be open to helping folks in the event of emergency? We have an emergency row open. You're welcome to move seats if you would like. True fucking story. Okay, that absolutely happened. Boy, we gathered our shit so fast and we went right up to those seats. As soon as we plopped down, I said, you freaking manifested that. He's like, yes, I did. I felt all those feelings. I knew what it would feel like if we were sitting here, and here we are. He manifested that. Truly, absolutely insane. And I'm going to put up on the screen right now, sometimes the universe doesn't shut up. It just starts sending you, or keeps sending you more of the same shit. right up on the screen just the other day, this is like a week past my vacation. What's following behind me but a stinking yellow Jeep? Okay, I had to finally say, okay, universe, I got it. I got it now. It's okay. I hear ya. It's crazy, absolutely insane when you get the feel and the flavor for it. You can absolutely do this. Go have some fun. Okay, that's my prescription for you for the next at least week before the next podcast episode comes out. Do this experiment. You don't have to pick up the book, although I highly recommend you do. The other experiments are just as fun. But for now, for the next 48 hours, manifest or think about running into a particular kind of car. And it does not have to be like an actual car in front of you. It could be a toy at Barnes & Noble. It could be a picture. It could be on a commercial. It could be somebody saying the words, yellow Jeep. That's the same thing, okay? You just want to set your intention and then pay attention. Keep your eyes and ears open. What's going to come my way? Ooh, what happens? What happens when I put this intention out there? Be playful and fun and just know it's on its way. That's what turns this manifesting switch on, okay? So you can do that for 24 hours and then the next 24 hours manifest a free cup of coffee or whatever you would like. Just something random, a purple feather, a ladybug. It does not matter. Do this experiment. And I really, really hope that you have a ton of fun. And hey, I would love to hear your story about this experiment. And I might read it on the next podcast episode. So send it to me at maria@thereluctantmedium.us. I'm looking so forward to hearing your story. And until next time, my friend, be well. Thanks for joining the Reluctant Medium podcast today. I hope you found some useful information or maybe just a few laughs, or maybe you feel deeply seen. That's my hope. If you'd like to connect with me in any way, you can email me at maria@thereluctantmedium.us. Find me on all kinds of social networks. And if you'd like to connect with others in a free environment along with myself, consider downloading the Mighty Networks app and searching for the Miracles Happen community. Would love to see you there. Until next time, my friend, may you be well.